Akla Mafawi is the manager for Perpetua. That's a media company based in Tunisia since 2020. She produces and presents North African programming for Sat7. Sat7 is a Christian satellite television network broadcasting in Arabic, Persian, and Turkish across 25 countries in the Middle East and North Africa, along with 50 countries in Europe. Aklem, who is from a Muslim background, is also very active in her church. So what was the reaction from your family when you made a decision to become a follower of Jesus?
I come from a Muslim family, a family of 6, my parents and 4 girls. We were very committed to the rituals and religious life. We were practicing our faith as Muslims. My journey with Jesus began in 2005 when Jesus visited me in a dream. The dream changed my life dramatically. Jesus was a savior in that dream. He came and I was in a pit. He came and gave me his hand and took me from that hole. He told me, I am Jesus and you are free if you want to follow me. If you don't want to follow me, you can stay here if you want. For me, more than words, there was something that was planted in my heart. Those words in my heart transformed my life completely. When I was a little girl, I always prayed to God and said, God, I just want to know you and be in a relationship with you. But I couldn't be completely connected to God through my Muslim background. When he told me in the dream he was the Christ and was walking, I ran after him. I was crying and I wanted to be with him. He told me not to be scared and he was with me. Afterwards, I read that verse in the Bible and I was sure the one who visited me in that dream was Jesus Christ.
During this time, Aklem got a call from her sister.
I had a sister in Paris, France. She called me and had something to share with me. I didn't have to share it with my family. She told me she had become a Christian. It's an amazing thing that had happened. I lived in one country and my sister lives in another country. God was working at the same time in my life and in her life, and we both came to Christ. I consider that a miracle, and God does everything. I shared with my sister, of course. I told her I had become a Christian, and amazingly, she helped me find a church in Tunisia. She sent me to a place. I went to that church. I was discipled there and baptized. I also met my fiancé, and he became a believer, and we got married afterwards, and now we have a beautiful son. He's 9 years old. I believe God is amazing and able to do many wonderful things. Jesus Christ is the only Savior. He is the one who is able to do so many things for us. He controls all things, and I am happy to belong to his people, his body, his church.
Aklem's decision to follow Jesus was met with opposition.
Of course, it's a normal thing. I had some difficulties in the beginning with some members of my family, especially my oldest sister, who was a very religious person. She used to hide my Bible, but I trusted God because these difficulties are part of our faith, and God worked in a way to protect us and help us more and more to be close to him. It's not easy to share your faith and tell people around you that you're a Christian. This is not an easy thing, and you get rejected. When we as believers are more open about our faith, I remember that the Lord is faithful. He called us, and he is the one who protects us.
How important is Christian media in a Muslim country like Tunisia?
It's very important for Christian media in Tunisia because the church for many years has always been inside its walls, and media is helping the church have a voice outside these walls and exposed to society.
What is the most important role, do you think, of Christian media in Tunisia? Is it for the larger society, or is it more for church and bringing unity?
I want to speak about my role in media. First of all, it's God's calling on my life. When I first heard about it, and I started to pray and see what I could do in this area. It's not easy to speak publicly about your faith and represent a small Christian minority in the country. It was also very hard for many Tunisian believers to speak up about their faith and be open to the society and for it to take root. Through media, we have a voice as Christians, and people around us start to know us even more. They start to see Christians around, and this is a very brave step from believers themselves to be exposed and open about their faith with their friends and family in the country. I think through media, we become more known by local radio and TV stations. We have been invited as Christians in discussions on radio and TV and also speak about our rights. This is a very important thing because I think the purpose behind it is to bring awareness about religious coexistence. As Christians, we exist in this context. When we started, we had different programs about the church and other topics. And when we began, the difficulty was working among a divided church that went through division and conflict, and it was hard to work with the Christians. Christians were scared or under the influence of others who told them not to work with us in the media. But I prayed and I said to God, if this is your will, please help us. God actually worked outside the church because media is used as a vehicle to help the church open up to the outside world and areas that are not necessarily within the church.